Welcome back to Crown's Crypto Cave and invoking the power of good old Goat Jesus. He has heard our prayers and we actually have price action now. So as I finish my morning coffee and morning ground beef, let's get into the charts right over here. Again, talking about lower term time frame ideas, a little bit of trading here and there. And this opportunity is once again presenting itself, but I want to, first things first, always knock off the most important things to be aware of. You got this guy right here, 6150. So while this chart doesn't necessarily look like the most healthy chart of all time, in fact, it looks quite sick. As long as you're above there, I don't want to get too damn bearish. And when I say that, I mean I don't believe that it's appropriate, at least for myself. Again, I'm not telling you what to do, but at least for myself, I don't want to be holding like a major fucking short until we actually break this area on extremely heavy volume. Right here, you can see that volume coming back to the market for the first time in quite some time. But overall, relatively speaking, nothing really to write home about. So there are questions about this price action yesterday. So let's go through the lower time frames and kind of talk this one out. We spoke on how 63.60 over here was a support that was broken. Where do we find and where do we find our next kind of bounce area at? 62.50. We've been talking about this for quite some time, ever since that we had this area right over here. So hey, if you took that trade, congratulations, well done. But this is exactly what I've been speaking on is, hey, until 6100 breaks, I mean, I really don't want to be holding any position for too long. Yes, that was a good trade to be taking, a nice $100 profit, just lock it in, of course. Always a good idea if I can just stop fucking stuttering. But to actually hold that right here, right now, I don't believe it's the right thing to be doing. And in fact, we did talk about this last night on stream that we are very likely to bounce back up into the low 6300s. Have we already done that? Looks like we do have a high on the day of 62.89. So not quite there just yet, but I do believe that we will have another stab into this area right over here, at least the low 6300s, maybe even 6350, and 6400 is not out of reach, although I would be looking somewhere right around here for like the obvious trade, right around 6360-ish area. We do have some bullish divergence on lower time frames. We got 2 hour right here, pointing a little bit up. What about the 4 hour over here? Yeah, 4 hour, no bullish divergence, so it's only on 2 hour and lower. So is this like a full on reversal potential right here? I would say my intuition says it's unlikely, but hey, like I said, I'm not taking any directional trades as of right here, right now. Now, here's the thing: if Bitcoin were to rally back up relatively quickly, back to the 6360-ish area, that would typically speaking, when you do see things kind of like rally back quite quickly, those typically are fake outs. So meaning that we would actually see some upside from there, like taking it above this area right over here, 6400-ish area. But again, that hasn't happened just quite yet. So again, just talking about future ideas, potentials. We're just talking about potential ideas. 3 hour stochastics over here, hinting at a cross up. This is GDAX, by the way. 2 hours has already crossed up. What about 4 hour though? 4 hours still crossed down. What about 10 hour? 10 hour is getting down there. What about daily or 12 hour? This is 12 hour right here, just getting started. What about daily? Daily never got going the other way. So again, overall, I would still kind of apply the same logic over here as long as we're below this 21 exponential moving average, which is likely to kind of over the next couple of days come in a line with this horizontal right here. Again, this, I'm not trying to be Mr. fucking fortune teller or anything like that. I don't mean that as any aside to Pena. I fucking love Pena over there, but I just mean like a fortune teller and saying this is what's going to happen. I'm just, a lot of the time this is what happens, and then we'll come, a lot of the time you'll come back and test this area, and then if it gets rejected, that'll be the real trade to take. So that's kind of that's potentially the next trade that I'm eyeing right now. But again, at the end of the day, I want to see price action unfold first. There, like I said, if it does approach it relatively fast, that typically is a signal that that this was a fake out down here. Now again, the volume on this leaves a lot to be desired, so it does have potential to be such thing. I'm really looking for something analogous to what we saw over here and here. Just kind of pulling it out. These were the biggest volume dildos in a long time, really. And again, if we were to break 6100, that's essentially what I'm looking for, a volume signature like that on a full dildo break of that area. Until that happens, we're just kind of hanging around here, filling out this area. Yes, the higher time frames do not look good. Yes, everything, essentially everything is telling me that we very likely do go lower. But again, this is what trading is. If you take the trade too prematurely, you're going to get caught with a green dildo up your bunghole, and you're going to start talking like Tone Vays for the rest of your fucking life. Do you want that? Maybe you do. But Tone Vays is also... I won't say it. But overall, over here, yes, it doesn't look good. Yes, I agree with him. It's a bad chart, but do you take a short right over here? No, you don't have the full break just yet. We've been speaking on this area for such a long time, and to not actually fully break it, that is a signal in and of itself. So again, just like, I don't want to get too damn excited for the upside until you really get back above this area right here, 7400-ish area, and create like a higher high for once. But overall, this price action right here is very droopy to me. That it's kind of like got that round over. It's a little bit easier seen on Finex over here. Yeah, it's just kind of like a rounded off action. If you just get rid of the wicks over here, again, most of the time I'm not too concerned with wicks just because it's telling you where people get really crazily liquidated, not necessarily like where true buyers and sellers are at. Although that's a very misleading statement to make. Anything that goes in the recent trades list, that's a real fucking buy and sell. But I want to know what the algos and trading bots are doing. Where do they want price action at the end of the day? And this was very, 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 very clear. So you get this overall rounded over action. To me, that's distribution. But hey, until we actually see it resolve to the downside, again, this is all mental masturbation right now. So with that said, putting on the 10 simple moving average over here, we have a clean break of it. If we go over to the 12 hour, I think the 12 hour is quite telling right here. In my opinion, as long as the 12 hours below this horizontal right here at again 63.60, pressure is on. This does not look good to me, and I'm not shorting right here, but as long as we hold this area right here, 63.60, pressure is on to the downside. 2-day dildo chart over here. 2-day dildos have crossed our Stokes to the downside, giving you the signal on Sunday, actually, so quite nice of them to do so. 2-day RSI back into the bearish control zone, so that is very important as well. And again, you have that 10 simple just kind of lining up with this area right over here. So overall, to me, this is a setup right here. But until we actually get full-on confirmation, it could also be just a setup to trap some over-aggressive bears. Now, here's the thing. The major story at large has not changed at all whatsoever in the last couple of months. Just gotten really, honestly, it's just gotten worse. You have your 2-day dildo death cross right over here. You're below all major moving averages on the 2-day dildo chart, using the 21 exponential as resistance all the way through. I mean, the 3-day just gets even worse over here. You can't even get above your 10 simple over here, using it as resistance all the way through. And now we're gaining momentum once again away from that 21 exponential. Think of that as a MACD, not like McDonald's, but like a fucking MACD, convergence divergence indicator. And right here, right now, I'm not looking, it's kind of resting once again on that 200 exponential, that purple line right around there. We have not had a dildo, a 3-day dildo, both open and closed below below this ever since, over here in 2014, except we don't have enough history for 2014 on silly GDAX, but we do on Bitstamp. And yes, the only other time that Bitcoin's actually both opened and closed, not just closed, but opened and closed dildos below this purple line, the 200 exponential and the 3-day dildo chart, was right over there. And we've kind of flirted around with it quite a few times. And yes, this is not necessarily the most healthy of action. Again, each and every bounce is getting weaker, right? Each and every bounce, this bounce over here, 6,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, 500, and this last one, really, if you start from the bottom of the dildo at 6,200 and go to the top of the body, not the wick, but the body, well, that's 6,200 to 6,450. That's about a $250 move. So you might be you're likely noticing a trend in that. And overall, this is the psychology of a descending triangle, which essentially is a psychology of sellers getting more aggressive over time. I mean, not only are the buyers getting weaker as each and every bounce gets weaker, but the sellers get more aggressive. Over here on the right-hand side of your dildo chart, you do see all the heavy volume is actually on the selling. Now, people are calling this a falling wedge, which is extremely misleading. And again, that's the difference between someone who actually has gone through the fucking fire to learn this shit, and someone who just goes on Wikipedia or reads fucking Bukowski's book and goes, "Oh my God, it's shaped like a wedge!" And it's like, okay, well, okay, that's great. That's great that you notice that, but it doesn't have the psychology and the volume interpretation and just the overall. I mean, even the shape's kind of wrong as well. Of a falling wedge to begin with. If anything, I do believe that this price action over here, you could even say that that's less important than what's going on in the more immediate time frames right over here, which to me does still look like something like this, something like this, like a descending triangle, which did have a little bit of a fake out to the upside, but again, without any volume to break to the upside, you don't really have a true breakout. Just as the same people who got fucked around over here, you can just name all of the insert crypto Twitter, insert crypto crypto YouTuber, insert fucking trading view person right over here. They're like, oh my God, we're breaking out to the upside, 7,000. It's like, no, there's no volume. There's no fucking volume, meaning there's no participation. There's no, there's no conviction. There's no agreement within the market. And so what happens after that? Well, all those people get hunted out because that's exactly who it was designed for, to kind of take advantage of. Again, that's why I also don't want to get too aggressive to the downside here just yet. It's not appropriate just yet. Yes, it does look bad, but it's not appropriate just yet. So again, a lot of people, making a lot of noise on the interwebs, but there's a difference. People who don't show their fucking P&Ls, and that, well, I think it kind of speaks for itself. I mean, I only have one position on over here. I did take a short yesterday on 63.50. I did exactly what I told you guys. I posted my trade in the Discord over there, and then I closed it. I didn't get a good close on it, admittedly so. And I mean, that's just trading. I'm not a perfect trader. I closed it at like 62.80 rather than 60. I mean, I could have closed at like 62.20. So giving up some good gains on that one. But other than that, I'm just still building this strangle over here, which is slowly decaying over time. I think, yeah, so just yesterday it was just like half that. So these ones are actually kind of going fast in November, oddly enough. But hey, I hope to build this position up to like 20 on each side so we can actually be making some fucking money. Right now I don't know, it's probably just like a couple $1,000, but hey, anyways, in a market like this, as long as you can fucking do something, it's I consider that a win. Anyways. Okay, so this action over here, not necessarily the most healthy. What else do we have to talk about? Let's go look at the 3-day Stokes over here. I'm curious what they're saying. 3-day Stokes are actually still gaining momentum to the upside, so fair enough. Do we get a new one today? We don't. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. 3-day RSI getting into the bearish zone as well, using the exponential as resistance. I don't like that either. Same thing with the weekly. We are now once again in the bearish control zone. We are below the exponential, and again, the only other time that Bitcoin's ever been in the bearish control zone on the RSI was over here in 2014. It's never really spent time in there before. So again, slowly but surely, it does feel like that. Overall, I'm not going to go over like super high time frame ideas over here. You already know, if you want to know my ideas on where this thing could go if 6100 were to break, well, you can go look at the long-term analysis playlist, as that will go into detail there. But that's just going to make this video way too long. Let's go check out GBTC. GBTC actually closing a nice hammer dildo on the lows over here, crawling its way back up above this horizontal. So hey, that's better than, it's better than fucking breaking it. But at the end of the day, well, let's go into lower time frames and see if this was buying or not. This one's hard to tell. You put in your hammer dildo to start the day off, and then you kind of drooped around. So again, all I can really say about something like this is we do have some bullish divergence on the hourly. What about like an 8-hour? We do have some bullish divergence on the 8 hours. So perhaps this does actually rally back up. So this would be a good leading indicator. I do see Litecoin is actually below 49 bucks right now. Jesus Christ, man. Litecoin just getting shellacked. Overall, though, at the end of the day, I can't get too excited about this thing until at least until you get above $7.30. But really more importantly, above about $8.06, I'd be a little bit more excited about this thing. But right here, right now, hey, you did put in the hammer dildo yesterday, so maybe we do rally it up. I believe that that traditional markets did close the day down about $1.50. It looks like over here on SPYs. Yes, they did. So traditionally speaking, a lot of the time, when you have a big dump on a Friday, you'll dump on Monday again, and then you turn around on Tuesday. Now, we did already hit the measured move off this bear flag over here pretty damn well, and then actually a little bit further down, yesterday. I did not get to see this live. So again, before closing the day, a little bit, at least above this guy right here. Overall, though, I do think that regular markets probably do bounce a little bit this week. I think that they probably do bounce a little bit. Although, is that your rejection of the 55 right there? If that is so, then that is extremely nasty. You can see over here bouncing off of our lower support right around here, right around about 259. Now 259 is extremely important. The reason why 259 is extremely important is because the monthly, which will be closing actually tomorrow in about a day and a half, has a chance to actually smash this yellow 20-month exponential moving average. If that were to happen, then yes, I would start to lean pretty damn bearish on regular markets. So again, we do have another trading day to go, but today too. Tuesday. Sorry, no. We have Wednesday as well. So if Wednesday closes below about 259, 260ish area, I will become extremely bearish on regular markets, and I will look for and I will look for this thing to kind of come back, perhaps all the way to here around 219, 220. Initially, that's going to take a long time though. It's traditional markets. They move at a snail's pace. Initially though, 241 would look about right. Overall, again, I need to see this level smash first things first. It's the same thing as Bitcoin below 6,100. I don't, this does not look good to me, but we could certainly spend another month, filling out this area over here and rallying back up into the mid 270s. Definitely very, 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 very possible. Overall, though, massive bearish divergence on the top over here. It does look like it wants to kind of spill over quite a bit more. Where do we find where do we find the ultimate low? Well, that's something we'll talk about at a later date. You do have strong support right around here, right around 150. But hey, again, that's well and far away. Again, it's not appropriate to talk about until we actually break that level. Speaking of monthlies though, we got Bitcoin over here. Monthly looks extremely nasty to me as well. Dancing around your yellow 21 exponential moving average as the 10 simple starts to squeeze on the price action. Again, it's by no mistake that you actually began your bear market over here in 2014 when you actually broke this yellow 21. And where is that 21 exponential moving average coming around? Oh my God, 6,100. Fuck! That area is so important. So if you do lose that area, then I start to look into the mid to low 4,000s actually. But again, I won't get into too deep of details on that one. If you're interested in those ideas, definitely go check out the playlist called titled long-term analysis. Overall though, I really don't like this setup over here. Maybe you have something like this go on, but again, we don't necessarily have the former price action that would be analogous to that. This was your capitulation dildo down here. And again, people think that you ground the lows for about half a year. No, this was a good 50% lower than this price action right here. So no, that misleading when people say that. So again, people look at this as a falling wedge, but they fail to identify the actual interpretation, actual psychology behind a falling wedge. It's shakeout of sellers. Instead, all we see is actually selling pressure increase. Sellers kind of getting more and more comfortable as time goes on. So again, I really don't like what I see over here. But until we actually formally smash, 6,100, don't really think it's a good idea to just be blindly shorting. Let's go check out Mr. Buterin really quick. Curious what he's doing. Or actually, first things first, let's go check on the MVT signal. Still extremely high. In fact, the MVT signal has actually gone up right now. Again, if you're not familiar with this thing, it calls tops like it's oh God, I can't even talk. Like it's its job. And it is essentially the network value divided by the daily transaction value. And as you can see, it has a great history of calling actually every single top almost to the dot. And right here, right now, it's at one of the highest points it's ever been at in Bitcoin's almost 10-year history. Here we got the total market cap, which again, people calling this a falling wedge. No, not really. But I mean, also you don't even have like the right volume characteristics, the right RSI or the right stochastic characteristics. It's just all people just very interesting. But hey, if you are looking at this area over here, it does look like people. So I see some people calling this an inverted head and shoulders as well. No, it's not. It has the complete wrong volume characteristics for an inverted head and shoulders. You also don't see it on the RSI. That's just it's wrong. This is coming down. This is way too close for comfort over here. To me, this looks like it broke out to fake out all of the silly coin market cap watchers, because again, this is fucking irrelevant, but it would be the first thing to break out if anything's going to break out. And then we come back down to test this. I mean, this is pretty normal. You come back and test this area, but you want to have a relatively quick and swift recovery. So Bitcoin kind of is on a clock right now, in my opinion. We do need to see if this is going to salvage itself. It needs to happen relatively soon, in my opinion. Relatively soon, meaning like in the next couple weeks. So again, things do take some time, especially when we're looking at the same goddamn thing all the time. But hey, that's what I'd be looking for. Overall, what else do we have to look at? Yeah, let's go check out Mr. Buterin really quick before we end this bitch. And we got Tether back at around 99 cents, so that's good. They're not fucking up too much, I guess. Okay, so we got Finex, Mr. Buterin over here. Is this a symmetrical triangle? Well, it actually does kind of look like one. It does have the right volume characteristics of one, although it's not, it ain't fucking pretty, and we do have a lot of weird price action due to Tether a few weeks ago now. If this were to break out to the downside, it would actually be aligning with this 135-ish area down around here, a nice horizontal. But hey, it's an equal opportunity. It's like a social justice warrior's wet dream for a pattern. It could break out to the upside as well, although you do have a 3-day dildo death. Or sorry, no, this is a 2-day dildo Dildo death cross. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm concerned about Bitcoin having a 2-day dildo death cross, this is why. That's actually why. Although we have played out some significant down from there. I mean, this is basically a 66% move to the downside after that. Anyways, if you were to break this out to the upside, which is certainly possible, although you know, it doesn't look too healthy right now. You know, 275 would be about the measured move, and above there, things could get a lot more interesting, as I wouldn't see much stopping from about 369-ish area. So again, a lot of things to be aware of over here. A lot of opportunity in the market, and I feel like we will be getting resolution on all these things pretty damn soon. So to wrap it up just one more time, going back into lower time frames right over here, I'm looking for a play back up into this area right over here, anywhere around 6350 to 6400. As long as we're below there, pressure is on in my opinion, and I'm looking for a short around those areas. Tentatively speaking, again, I'm not saying, you know, go out and fucking do this. I could change my mind at the time of being. Again, it depends how we actually get there too, if we even do get there. But I think we will. Again, you do have some bullish divergence on these lower time frames over here, but not on the higher. So it wouldn't take too much to get this guy back above 63. Again, am I buying it though? No, I just closed shorts. That's all I'm doing, just closing shorts. And then again, I just have a strangle on over here, which I'm trying to build up, but they keep on decaying, so it becomes less and less enticing. Maybe I'll just take it off altogether. So yeah, overall, that's going to be it for this morning. Hope everyone is having a great rest of your Tuesday. Yes, hey, happy Tuesday. Drink your fucking coffee, eat your ground beef, and look at some goddamn Magic Internet money. All right, guys, I'll be on later to do a little bit of a live stream, so I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.